connected to the truth, so everything is going real smooth. Ooh, I don't know about you, but
It ain't exclusive if it ain't an EMLN exclusive. It's your boy BQ. We right here in the heart of Silicon Valley, right here in downtown San Jose, right off Sofa District. And we are currently at EMLN Labs, and we are in for another special episode of the EMLN Podcast. And first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to the ones that have been tuning in. You guys are very appreciative when it comes to, diving into the stories of culture leaders, people behind the scenes, and just tapping into the art of vision and what people are doing to do amazing things in the community. And yes, as mentioned, we have a very special guest today, a very special treat for today's episode. We're accompanied by the one and only David Morales.
Yee, yo.
Active Poet.
Yo.
Some might know on Instagram.
Yo, it's
How
a
you
blessing
doing, man?
to be
How you
here.
feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Just recovering from a little sickness, but hey, bro, I'm here.
Wasn't
I'm
no
happy.
COVID, was it?
It wasn't
Nah, just
COVID.
flying. I'm
That
just
Rona
talking
didn't
shit.
get me. Not this time,
Not
bro.
the Rona.
Not the Rona.
Not the Rona.
Nah,
Wait.
but I'm good, bro. Thriving in these San Jose streets.
Yes, man. These streets is active, and I see you active with the streetwear. I love the fit. You came,
Thank you.
Came swagged out.
Thank you
matching apparel.
with my own. This is my fit.
Oh, that's
Made
yours.
This is
What does that say
me,
on
bro.
the? What does that say on the torso right there?
Go with the flow. Myself and my boy Misa made the song "Go with the Flow," and because of that, we dropped a whole sweatsuit.
No, that's amazing. I like
Thank
the
you.
merch because I could definitely tell from right here. I'm not that far away. I could definitely see it's like embroidered, some good quality garments right there.
I know you like quality.
I'm not even like I could tell it's like some soft as like
Come on.
material right there.
Come on.
That's what's. Is it matching too? Is it a 2-piece? Damn.
Come on. Like
okay.
I like to take the approach when it comes to anything I do, like the same quality you're gonna get when you buy my stuff. I want you to understand, like, I put time into this. I don't want to
Yeah.
just put on a Hanes t-shirt. No offense to Hanes out there, but
Hey,
we
he's
are
like, what the fuck?
yeah, but we already know, when you put that extra love into it, people
Yeah.
will like want to wear it, not because it's you, but they're like, this stuff feels good,
Yes, intentionality is
Yes.
very important.
Yes, sir.
100%. Well, for the sake of time, I definitely want to dive into some questions and give an opportunity for people that aren't familiar with you to learn a little bit about your background. Like I think we've known each other for a few years now.
Yeah.
Definitely been keeping up with your journey and always grateful for. We've already worked together. You've
Yeah.
performed at one of our events before, and I've admired just the trajectory, like what you've done and where you're going.
Thank you, sir.
I've been peeping. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
I'm pretty sure
appreciate
most
it.
people have. You know what I
I
mean?
appreciate it.
But for the ones that aren't familiar, I do want to give you an opportunity to formally introduce yourself to the ones
Holy.
that might not know exactly who you are. But if you want to give a little brief introduction to this camera, your camera.
Yeah. What's up, camera? Yo, David Morales, Active Poet, the trilogy, 00 Dav, however you know me. I'm an actor, I'm a rapper, I'm a storyteller, content creator, teaching artist, overall entertainer. I'm from San Jose, born and raised Southside, grew up here. I do a little everything. Theater is where it started for me. I always wanted to do this. I was a class clown until I had an opportunity to join a drama class, and then I just knew this was it for me. Music came a little later for me. I never knew that I could do music until high school when I actually met my friend who was actually rapping, and I was like, oh, and started listening to people like Common, Mos Def, Kanye West, people talking about that everyday rap that really inspired me to start doing music as well. And I think a big why for me is the representation. I've always wanted to see myself, like, especially we were talking about Marvel before we
Yep.
started, like,
Yeah.
where are the black superheroes at? Where the people who look like me? Why can't we have like everyday stories for us? Why can't we have a black and brown Goonies? Come on, that's what I'm trying to see that, So that's been my why to do all this. And I see a lot of people having fun. I'm just trying to be part of the fun, And I'm trying to do that here in San Jose.
Hell yeah, man. No, you is the fun, bro. Don't
Thank you.
let it get confused, man. I love your energy, bro. And I just so many things that I definitely want to touch on. But first and foremost, real South, man. He just said he represented South San Jose. Always got to highlight that.
Come on. Come on.
Branham High School, right?
Pioneer.
Pioneer. Fuck, I got it mixed up.
It's all good.
They're both blue.
Yeah, they
Both blue.
is Brandon blue?
Branham for sure. It's like light blue. It's like light blue.
Oh yeah.
It's like light blue. That still counts. Anyways, still OG. No, just playing.
It's been a
Hey,
while.
Oak Grove blue too. Hey, Santa Teresa blue too. Damn.
Yeah.
Everyone's blue. We got straight Crips. On the
Yeah,
South.
straight up.
Straight Crippin', not just playing. Yeah, no, just for fun, shits and giggles. But definitely, I want to also say thank you for coming to the open house we had the other day. You
Of
came
course.
down. a few weeks ago and got a chance to connect with some other creatives in the space. We do the open houses just to kind of open it up to the community.
I love
That
that.
are doing stuff. And sometimes, it might only be a couple heads, and sometimes it might be a swarm of different waves of people. But at the end of the day, I love to provide a space for people to just start conversations, because there is a thing called imposter syndrome, and people kind of go in certain environments and they think on this frequency of creativity and content and production, whatever. But it's sometimes hard to find and connect with those people, especially in like
Totally.
Silicon Valley, man, the
Ooh.
world of the tech boom and
Ooh.
the all the stuff that comes with that. Sometimes we don't really see ourselves.
Yeah.
So even if it's just a small niche environment, I love to see that. So I do appreciate you coming down, and it was really cool.
Always.
And he also copped the EMLN hat, by the way. So
Had
shout
to
out.
support. Come
that
on.
shit was clean.
Stop buying Nike. Start buying stuff from your homies. Come on,
Hey,
y'all.
Come on, buy local. Group
Come on.
economics.
Come on.
But one of the things that you and I talked about, which really like I had no idea, you know what I'm saying, was you was talking about your work that you do in, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm even pronouncing it wrong, if it's the prison
Yeah.
or the jail,
Yeah.
that you teach people acting,
Yeah.
or some entertainment stuff like that. I don't, if like I said, I don't know the correct verbiage.
No, you
but I know
killing
you're
it.
doing stuff, and this isn't something that you really make public. But when you shared that with me, I thought that was really dope.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I work through the Red Ladder Theater Company. It's a theater justice company. It's a nonprofit, and they work for just at need like communities. Like they do juvenile halls, they do foster cares, they do foster systems, they do retirement homes, they do high schools, correctional facilities, jails. So I've been doing that for like 6 years now.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of community work, at least my perspective, I don't like to do it just because I'm like, yo, look how cool I am doing this thing. I'm like, it's the most rewarding job I've ever had. The fact that I get to share my art and I get to see the power of theater. Like, as you can imagine, prison's very segregated.
Yeah.
And in that class, we get to break that up. And then a lot of people who don't get to talk to each other in the yard, who have all this politics, they get to laugh with each other. And a lot of them are used to that Bay Area, like, yo, it doesn't matter what you look like. We're from the same place,
Yeah.
But we get to share laughs with those guys, and they get to tell their stories. And I love the job. I plan to do it forever. That's just something like, I know the higher I get with success, the more impactful I get. Like when I booked that KFC commercial, I had dudes coming in there be like, hey, double down. I saw you. I told him you coming here. No one believes me. And I was like, hey, bro, you're in here working with me,
That's baby.
I love bringing that joy to people,
Yeah.
that like, I always believe theater saved my life. So I just love bringing it back to people.
No, that's powerful, bro. I feel like you've met, like you said, you're bringing people together. You're separating the politics. There's a lot of politics in the system, and like you said, people don't really get to connect with one another. So the fact that and I don't know how many people like are actively a part of that program. Like, I'm not talking about in the sense of like people from the nonprofit, but people within the system. Like, how many people like from the jail are actually participating?
I mean, a bunch try to. I mean, it's hard. I mean, a lot of people are wearing masks all the time for protection purposes, and they don't want to be seen that way. I find the prisons are more inviting than the jails, just because jails have such turnarounds. Like, people are only there for like 6 months, a year, so people are really not trying to change, it seems like. But when you're locked up for like 5 years, 10 years, you're like, let me try something different, And I feel like those type of participants are the ones who like get the most out of it, who are like, man, I never thought I could do something like this. I'm like, yeah. So when they go back, usually home, a lot of them are trying to be a better father. They make up for the time that they've lost. They're like, I now have games to play with my kids. Now I have different ways to connect, I can tap into my creativity this way,
That's powerful. That's impact. That's kind of the main thing I wanted to get at. You said right here? Sorry, Blanco's trying to help me out right here. My bad. Right here? How's that? A little sideways? All right.
Shout out Blanco and Troy right here.
Blanco, Troy on set. Casey ain't knows they're right there holding it down. I got a text from
Yeah.
Troy too. He said, move the mic a little to your left. It's all good. We got it going. You feel me? This is raw, authentic. We ain't bullshitting over here.
But also, we got to talk about, that's something that theater taught me, is like the people behind the cameras. Like, it's a family effort, man. It's a team.
Yep.
That's something I admire from you, man. I'm trying to learn how to delegate and like bring more of that community and team environment, because as you can imagine, doing this artist stuff, you're kind of a lone wolf most of the time. I'll do it all myself. It's like,
well, it's in our nature, right?
Bro.
Like especially if you grow up in a certain background where everyone kind of has to, work for their own and achieve their own, and your parents teach you like, you gotta do certain thing a certain way.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's a little bit like scarcity mindset, right? It starts at a very young age, but as you get older, you start working within the community, you start realizing collaboration and working with people is actually a more effective approach.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to learn through your trials and tribulations. You don't
Yeah.
just get it right away.
I don't know if it's a black and brown thing, but like I noticed, at least for me, I hate asking for help,
Yeah.
and I don't like looking like I'm lesser, like I don't,
Yeah. Well, from
have
my
it
from my
together.
experience, like it's a pride thing that
That
is
too.
instilled from like my pops, for example.
Oh yeah,
And my pops has always been like, oh, you know what? If this person ain't gonna do it, like figure it out, or you got to do
Facts.
it on your own. He's like, stop making
Facts.
excuses. But this also comes down to some of the, the trauma that some of our parents
course.
were instilled, because I'm a first generation American. My parents, they come from a tough background,
Yeah.
dirt floors, homemade roofs type shit, crazy life experiences. So instilling that at a young age, you kind of you inherit some of those like prideful tendencies.
of course.
And I realized, like, as I got older, those prideful tendencies were my obstacles. Like, those were the things that literally created the barriers for myself.
Yeah,
And it took me to literally hit that barrier over and over again. So I realized, like, I need to do something different. And then that's when I
Facts.
started opening up a little bit more and try to unlearn certain things. So I don't think it's more so learning things, it's unlearning.
learning. Yeah,
It's like you got to unlearn certain behaviors and shit like that.
yeah. You seem
Um,
very open, like open up to stuff. Like when it comes to succeeding and getting to where you want to be, and I think a lot of people are in a closed mindset. What-
It's
what-
crazy.
What's that quote? It's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
go far,
Yeah.
go together.
I've heard that one from
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch.
Beast Mode?
Yeah, Beast Mode said that one in the interview.
Come
He's like,
on,
if you want to
Bay
go
Area.
fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. But that's something I feel like we've definitely said that. We've say we all we got. There's certain terms that even when people are saying like you, I try to say we.
It's
I
facts.
try to correct my dialogue because at the end of the day, like, it could be so easy for me to take credit with some of the things that we are involved in. But at the end of the day, I know there's so many people in the
Man.
process
man.
that to not acknowledge them,
Man.
it's a disservice to the whole movement.
Yeah,
Because God forbid something happens to me, but I would want, for example, Culture Night Market to continue. I
facts.
don't know how the fuck that would work out logistically. I have no idea yet. Still trying to figure that part out.
But you
But
would,
from
yeah.
what the impact has done with that project, I
Yeah.
would want it to be like continuous. You
How
know,
many vendors you guys
and
have
even
employed?
even
Man,
shit, even to this man right here, Nipsey Hussle, man. Like
such a prolific
Kobe
himself.
Bryant's another example. Like all these legends. What's one thing that has stayed with people that love them? Like it's the mindset.
Yeah,
It's the
facts.
things that they've taught people, the energy, the spirit, and that shit I feel like lives forever. Like it's one thing to
Yeah.
create something and it has its moment, and then the moment goes away, and then another thing comes.
Yeah,
It's another thing to like instill like the impact and through I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know if you're
actions.
understand-
Yeah, no,
you know what I
time
mean? Like,
tested,
it's,
bro.
It's just
This
something
is
that it's gonna live forever.
man. That's the I think that's what we all chase. To build
Yes.
something that's gonna live forever. Your legacy,
Yeah, there you go.
something that's time tested. I think that way about music. There's some music that you just know is just like, this song will never get old. This song will
Yeah.
never die.
For sure.
And there's a reason why I feel like there's always a resurgence of certain eras of music where you're like, what? What is Green Day? Like some kids are like now just finding
Yeah.
punk and they're like, what?
What the hell is this?
Yeah, they're like,
facts. Maybe it's funny on the set. Well, I'm gonna bring this up and I'm gonna follow it up with a question.
yeah.
But hella music gets sampled, like
Totally.
sampled over
Totally.
sampled, and people be like, "Oh, this shit dope!" Like after the fourth version of it, I'm like, "You ain't even heard the original."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, it's crazy to think that it starts from one person. You know what I mean? And then evolves into so many different
Yeah.
crazy things. So to follow that though, what is that song for you?
Oh. That's time tested?
Yeah.
I have a question that I always ask people. And I was like, if you could claim one song,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Mm.
Like you wrote it, that's your song. I always have two answers. It depends who I'm like
Yeah,
playing this against. And it's always either Maria.
Yeah.
That song you can play whenever and it's a feel good anthem.
Yeah.
Get the Latin side, get both whatever other side, people who like to party, or Return of the Mac, bro. Those are my two modes. Like I'm either like, hey, We turning up tonight,
Yeah.
or also we turning up with a lady tonight.
Facts.
It's
For me, it's
either one of those.
Suavemente, bro. Nah, just play.
That's a great song,
Nah,
bro.
It really do, though. That should be hitting every time.
That song always reminds me of like somebody on a rooftop just being like, Suave.
Everybody's like, ah.
You're like, is it that time?
That
Suave.
time.
You
Like,
know?
no matter where you're at, you be like serving some food. You be like, oh, shit.
Exactly.
I
It's
gotta
a head
go to the
turn.
dance floor. It really is, though. You know, it's funny that I say that, and then I just
So
came back from a wedding this weekend, and I experienced one of the worst DJs ever, bro. And like,
Did he play that song though?
He rolled it out in the most terrible way, and it made me feel some type of way, low key. I was like, damn, bro, like, how do you fuck up a classic? You know what I mean? Like, sorry, no shot. He don't know who I am. He ain't never gonna.
Exactly. And
I'm
if
sorry,
he does,
bro, that shit.
hey, get your shit together.
No, real
Don't
shit.
fuck up classic. Hey, for a long time,
Classic, though.
like I didn't like EDM because I felt like they were fucking up my favorite songs. It would be like,
yeah.
I'm feeling myself. I'm like,
Turn it up.
turn this shit off. Turn this shit off. Stop remixing classics.
I feel like with EDM is like an acquired taste. For a while, I didn't like it for whatever
Yeah.
reason. Like
Yeah.
I was just kind of judging it, to be honest. I
Yeah.
was like, what the fuck, motherfuckers doing Molly and shit? Like, no knock on anyone. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You probably shouldn't be doing drugs, anyways. But
That's a different podcast.
different podcast. It's the Real South podcast. Anyways, yeah. Eventually, I started hearing some shit, and I was like, I could low key work out to this song, or
No.
I could low key do certain shit to this song.
I think
Maybe
when
if I'm by myself, no one around, I might slap this, and I might even sing this song.
that's
Like,
hella funny.
You know what I'm saying? Just
That's
like,
hella
nah,
funny.
but for real though, like it was like low key an acquired taste.
Yeah, I
But
think
anyways,
the less
sorry, go
remixes and like the simpler they kept EDM, the
Yeah.
more I think I started liking it.
Yeah, for sure. But there's so many people in that. I only know a handful.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going hella off subject.
Oh, hey, bro, I'm with it.
Nah.
We on this ride together.
Hey, what does that say on your shirt again?
Go with the flow.
There you go.
Come on, we flowing.
So one thing I do want to talk about is kind of like your journey and how you even got into that, being from San Jose. Like how did you even choose this lane, like from acting, theater?
Man, how did I choose it? Man, it sounds so cliche to be like it chose me, but like
Yeah.
growing up, my dad passed away when I was 5, and it was just like the babysitter for me was like my sister who's 8 years older than me, and the TV.
Mhm.
Like that's really, my mom was working like 2 jobs like all the time, just trying to provide for us.
Mhm.
And I just saw these shows like All That and Fresh Prince, and I was like, whatever this is, this sounds fun. You know, I want to do that. And I just remember in class how good it felt. Like, you know, I was sad, obviously, but when you're young, you don't really know how to process emotions as much.
Yeah.
But I just always found myself gravitating to the lighter side of life. I'm like, I'm having a shitty day and I'm not showing it. So I can imagine how many people around me are also going through shit and not showing it, or like they're taking shit out on me, but I know it's not because of me. It's like their other stuff. So I always found myself trying to be a light in people's life, and like,
Mhm.
I got in trouble, you know, I got some pink slips in elementary school
Not
trying
the
to
pink
like,
slip.
got the
Not
pink
the
slips.
slip.
And then in, you know, middle school, I went to on-campus suspension, OCS, a bunch of times.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, it's just because I wanted to make people laugh. You know, I was
Yeah,
like, yo,
yeah.
this is, I would find jokes and stuff.
Yeah, just being goofy.
And then I found like drama, and then it just clicked. I was like, oh, you could actually do this? I was like, oh, it's bad. It's bad from here. And then when I had, you know, some of the quote unquote cool kids,
Yeah.
like look at me after doing some of the plays and be like, hey, yo, that was funny. I was like, see, this shit transcends. I was like,
yeah.
y'all want to pretend you're too cool for this, but like this shit transcends. So I think that for acting is what sold it for me. And for music, it was just always like community, you know? It felt like something cool to do. Like also like, I just always wanted to make mantra music, stuff that felt good. Like,
Yeah.
like I say, Maria and
Yeah.
Return of the Mac, 2 songs that just always make you feel good when
Yeah,
that comes on. Like, I want to make that type of music for people.
Mhm.
And when I was having my sad days, you know, there was, you know, Kid Cudi, Drake, J. Cole, the people that actually felt like they were talking to me. Like,
Yeah.
they felt like they were going through what I was going through. So
Yeah.
that connection.
Facts. I fuck with Kid Cudi, man.
Yeah.
Especially around that time, like
Whew.
high school days.
Come on.
Sky Might Fall.
Yeah.
Mr. Solo Dolo.
It's Mr. Solo
Man,
Dolo.
that shit's hit.
Yeah, bro.
Especially when you're down and shit.
The Lonely Stoner, man.
Nah, real stuff. And I heard through the grapevine that you build your own studio.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. So the very first studio I built, shout out my mom for letting me build in my garage. My uncle who does plumbing and construction,
Yeah.
him and I just like, you know, put it together. I had 2 other homies who were my partners / investors, and we put together $9,000. We took all our PTO and we were like, let's get it. And we like paid my uncle for his labor and also the supplies, and we built it. Unfortunately, one of my neighbors got it torn down, kept on just calling complaints after complaints. And like, that was all our hard work, like 2 years of hard work that just got torn down. But a year later, I kind of thought it was a sign that I should stop doing music. I was like, maybe this is not my path. And then in a year's time, my mom kind of like saw it. She was like, hey, I'm going to pay for what it costs to actually get the blueprints. So like the city can't do anything. So she put like a $5,000 investment in the new like blueprints, and then from there I paid the rest to like get this new studio. It's a lot smaller, still in my garage, but it's everything that it needs to be. And like now I have my own studio in my garage, which is
fire.
good.
It's always something about the garage, man. The garage. Even we had a garage location back in the day.
Basement, garage. It's like that.
That's ground level.
You know
what I'm saying? Creativity, like you're all in kind of thing.
Yeah, and I be studying some of these musicians. Like, you really don't need the $10,000 mic. You don't need all those crazy switchboards. You don't need the multi-platinum producer to make a hit record.
Yeah,
you really don't need that.
Yeah, didn't that song "Swagger Like Us"? Didn't they record all those verses in the hotel?
That
I mean, from what I heard, I remember.
Hey, bro, it doesn't surprise me.
That was like Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, T.I. I forgot who
Kanye. That was a great record. Yep. And the chick, MIA, I think her name was. They sampled it from Paper Planes.
There you go. And then also, what was the other artist? The Baby. I think the Baby did his hit song Intro, the one like when he first rolled.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why he called it that. Intro, right? But it was a good song though. Anyways, yeah, that was filmed in that was recorded in the hotel room too.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like rappers I'd be studying right now that like just record off like I think this Shure mic. And they make hit records, and they're going viral on TikTok and Instagram.
Sorry to cut you off.
Get it.
What's his name? That song that just came out, LA 310 Baby, Soak City. Soak City. Well, fuck, I don't know why I'm forgetting the bars right now. What's that? How's that song go? What's the all the do it left, right? Let me see you do.
Y'all are ahead of me.
Do it.
Y'all might be a week ahead of me.
Play that shit. No, see, I gotta play it out loud right now. Look, you ain't gonna. I know you've heard it in the club somewhere, bro.
I don't go out, bro. I don't go out in the club. What do you mean? Whatever they're listening in the club, I have no idea.
This song right here. This. I don't know. This song's hit right now. All the NFL players are like doing the dance and shit like that.
Damn.
But this song I think was recorded. He recorded it in like his iPhone, like directly from the most simplest setup. But that song is like one of the hit, like a big hit right now.
That's what I'm saying. You can do it. There's really no excuses anymore.
In today's time, you really can do everything.
Yeah.
Even what we're doing right now. Like
straight up.
1,000.
I had a homie who blew up off TikTok and just from his phone. That was it. That's really all he needed. A ring light in his phone. Now he has like 10 million followers, subscribers. He's all over everywhere. Just killing it.
That's crazy. So I want to transition a little bit into to some of the work that you're actively doing right now. Like I have some notes here saying that you did commercials with. Well, you just told me that you're doing a commercial with Toyota. You mentioned that you did one with the KFC and McDonald's. Like, how does one even get in a position to do shit like that? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, we all consume media and we see commercials, we see ads. We're like, oh, fucking ad. One time I seen an ad, I was like, hey, that's my boy right there. I was tripping out. I was like, this isn't one of them like targeted ads from locally doing a boost campaign. Like, no, this is the real commercial. You know what I mean? So like, how did that all come about?
There's so many ways that people could go about this. Something simple, if like you don't have representation or anything, you could just go on a casting website like Casting Networks or Actors Access and something like that, and you could just make a profile and then submit to anything that you feel like you're right for. Or you could do the route that I did, which was, I took acting classes. I went to a 2-year acting conservatory. I got my AA in theater, and then I was building up my resume, got professional headshots. Then with that resume and that headshot, I could approach agents, email them, and then get signed to an agent. So then your agent now is going on those casting websites, also using their connections to like pitch you all over the place. So then you're just auditioning for these things. Agents open up a lot more doors than I think most people can do themselves, unless you're nitty gritty at the parties, networking like
Yeah.
crazy, which I don't like the nightlife, man. I like being inside.
Yeah.
So my agents have been able to open up those doors for me. And I think from there, it's just, getting your reps up. Like, you're going to be bad in the beginning. Nope. You might get beginner's luck and like book stuff in the beginning. But like, I think I was telling you before this, like, if people could only see how many like auditions I put up versus how many I get, people would be like, damn, acting's really gambling. I'm like, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
How many would you say that you auditioned for before you actually got like a legit opportunity? Legit meaning like a fairly compensated opportunity.
I'll say this. I think when I first got my agent here in the Bay Area, took a year of like auditioning. So I'd probably say maybe there was like 50 auditions before I got one.
Damn.
And then even after that, I got an LA agent, and then it was like 6 months of me not booking anything. And I invested in myself. I re-upped. I went to New York. I went to this 2-week film academy. It was like $4,000. But like at the very end of it, you were acting all week. You got 2 short films out of it. So stuff to add to your reel. So like all these agents just want to see you on camera. Like, what do you look like? So they can pitch you. But from that, there was like self-tape classes. There's like little tips and tricks that I didn't know prior. And literally the next self-tape was for a Nickelodeon show, and I booked it. And I was like, sometimes you just got to re-up and reinvest in yourself, So, and I made that back, that $4,000 back doing the Nickelodeon show. I made a little bit more. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all I'm going to say. You get too much in the logistics.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think, oh, actor, you're going to make a lot of money. Like, yes, but there's a lot of investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of questioning your faith a lot of time. Like, there's a lot of downtime being an actor. Yeah. And that's why I like to stay busy doing a whole bunch of stuff.
No, you said something really important right now. Just like, because that was going to be my next question is like, because you mentioned 50 auditions. We're talking about how long is each audition? Like, what's the average audition time frame?
It depends. Some of them are just like, we need you to look in the camera and then look at a dove. That's it. Like 2 takes of that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Some are like, hey, can you memorize these 3 pages of dialogue? And you're like, okay, dang. And then it's the one thing about asking for help. Again, I always ask my mom or my girl, like, can you read these lines with me? So like I have that, and you don't want to waste their time.
Yeah.
So I would say the average audition, if there's not too much prep, if it's like maybe 1 page, maybe like an hour, and then editing after, maybe like 30 minutes. So an hour and a half, 2 hours, I would say the average audition. But the longer ones, definitely, like if there's like a big movie or like a big series, like I'll probably take all day for sure. Memorizing, trying to make strong choices, trying to make a good impression. You only get 1 shot. And usually with casting, they look at it and they know if you're it or not. So it's really just like, I've turned to the point where it's really about me. As long as I'm happy with it, I'm happy.
No, for sure. I think first and foremost, I commend you because that's like a lot of commitment.
Oh, thanks.
Like to be able to constantly deal with failure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if failure is the right word because some people I view like failed situations as like a learning opportunity, which I imagine you do too, which is the reason why you've done so many. But like, how do you maintain like you said, like sometimes you question your faith, like that's what you just
Of course.
said. So like, how did you continue to like still pursue it? Like what was the thing you kept telling yourself or reminding yourself like why I'm gonna keep going even after all these setbacks?
I think thinking why not me? Like there's so many people doing it, like why not me?
Yeah.
Why can't I get this? Seeing other people in the industry, like it's just a matter of like the right audition or the right time. And just Seth Rogen says this thing, it's like the only way to not make it in this industry is to quit. That's really it. You don't know when your time's about to come. I might be 1 audition away from being that guy.
Yeah.
Who knows? I might be 700 auditions away from being that guy. But hey, if I stop today, I'll never see that, I know you've seen that classic meme of like, there's a guy like digging for gold and he's like this far away. And then there's one guy turn away. He was like this close, like 1 more swing.
Yep.
So
that's true.
I just like to be optimistic. And I think about how much fun it is. Some auditions are really fun. And I always want them. Like there's one me and my girlfriend always joke about. It was like I had to do a voiceover audition in Spanish. And I was like these alligators that... Like, I had a voice like this the whole time, and I was, like, having so much fun, and I was like, I hope I get this. But regardless, the process. I'm starting to enjoy the process, and the process is fun. I get to create like a world, a character sometimes, and sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it's like, oh, I got to be. I don't know. I got to be a troubled young kid who like everyone in my family died, and like the gang life is like attacking me, and I'm like, damn, this story again. This is sad, you know. I'm like, sometimes it's that, but I try to have fun with everything I do, and I'm blessed to have the prison job that gives me a little bit of a stable income, and I think my agents believe in me. I have good conversations with my agents, and like the most important thing I would say to any actors out there is reminding yourself that agents are a part of your team and they work for you. So as long as that relationship is serving you, continue it. But every year you can like terminate that contract and just move on. Just know your worth in this thing and like know what you're trying to do. And I'm trying to do it all, you know?
Yeah. Now, for the sake of the select viewers that might be in the acting space,
Yeah.
like how do you evaluate someone to be an agent? Like, is there certain qualities you look for, or is there certain red flags that you kind of like pay attention to right when you see them? Like, what's just like, because you know this is an entrepreneurship kind of podcast.
No,
you feel me?
totally,
So
totally.
I want to give people some insight of like what your thought process is behind that.
Yeah. If you're going to an agent, I think it's important to check their social media. If they don't have one, check their website, see who else they're represented by. Also feel the energy. Like you could tell when somebody's stoked about you.
Yeah.
You could also tell when someone's all talk. If they're like, hey, I'll get back to you in a week, and then like a month goes by and you're like, what's going on with that? You know, if they're stoked about you, they're going to be stoked about you, you know?
Yeah.
The transparency, I think about it. If they're not trying to get anything over on you, number one, I will say anyone out there watching, if an agent says you have to pay to be represented by them, run. It's a scam. They don't make money until you make money. And if they're not providing you resources to help you get to the bag, why do you have them on your team, you know?
What are we doing?
I always tell my agents every time I've like signed with them, I have 4 agents right now, and I told them I'm very transparent about I have other agents and they're happy to work with them, which is good because they understand like if I book stuff over here, that gives me more stuff to my resume, which might help them over here. But it's a transparent thing, and I always try to tell them I'm trying to be the number one booker on your roster. How do I get there? Do I have to take a acting class? Do I have to do a certain thing? Like, what do you think I'm missing? I always try to evaluate with them because they hear stuff that I don't hear, you know? So I'm like,
the ins and outs.
exactly. I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I want to be at the top, you know?
What do you think is the hardest part about when you actually get the gig?
The imposter syndrome.
The imposter syndrome.
You know, it's like, oh, I got it. Oh, now I got to prove myself. And I read this book not too long ago called The War of Art, not the art on war. It's the opposite one. And it was saying the price of like competing at a high level. The price of competing at a high level is you're going to be judged at a high level. Like you can make a film and like at an indie level and you're like, well, my friends and family liked it. Cool. But as soon as you get that like Steven Spielberg level, you already know, like, if somebody hates it, like, the whole internet, Rotten Tomatoes, everyone's going to be like, this shit was trash. I wasted my time. And you're like, you might have loved it. You might have thought that was your best work. But that's what comes with it. Yeah. But on the other side, the risk to reward, if, like, you're like, I tried something and everyone loves it. They're like, PQ's a genius. How did he think of that? You know, it's just the price of what it comes, you know? So I think getting over that imposter syndrome, my teachers always used to say, like, the hard part is auditioning. As soon as you book the job, that's when you get to play. So it's like the real work is learning how to audition and how to sell yourself before that. After that, hey, you booked it. Kick back your feet and just have fun from there, you know? Yeah. So I always try to remind myself that.
Is that book, is that like a theater book or is that like just a life book?
What do you mean?
Like The War of Art that you were talking about?
Oh, no, it's a motivational book.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's just about art.
No, I think that's great because it's interesting because like I have like an analogy that comes in my head because I'm gonna tell you a story because one day I went. This is like 2020, 2021. This is like when Culture Night Market was born. You know, we did our first 7 events. Blood, sweat, and tears. Had a great movement going. Like it was all organic. People were happy. People were making money during a tough time, and it was like really a very emotional kind of year for everyone.
Yeah,
people lost their jobs. Businesses were going out. People were uncertain. People thought they were gonna die with COVID. People were dying from COVID. There was just a lot of shit going on. Yeah. But you know, all the dialogue around me was like, oh, you know what I'm saying, BQ, bro, you doing so much dope shit for the city, man. Like you giving people opportunity, artists doing this, spenders doing that, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff, which it was, you know, heartwarming. But But at the same time, like I knew that's not what I wanted to do. Like, maybe that's not where I wanted to be at, I guess.
Right.
So, but that didn't really click right away. I went to LA. I forgot what reason I went to LA, but I went to LA to go. I'm always going to LA to network. Like, I'm finding events. I'm doing some stuff. I'm going out there, and even if I'm going to visit family, I'm like, all right, what can I do in this gap?
Yeah.
To a networking event or something.
course.
Because LA, traditionally has always been that for many years of my entrepreneurship journey. But one time I connected with this guy named Blake, who owns a brand called Popular Demand. That's like all the Rezumi stores and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
But he has a bunch of other ventures that he does. And he's a great guy. He's someone that I would definitely tap back in with to get more advice from. But there was a moment where he posted something on Instagram where he was like, hey, tap in if you want to sit down and have some coffee and just, I'm opening the door to talk to anyone. I said, bet. Shout out DM. I'm like, bro, let's lock in. Like, I'm trying to meet with you. So keep in mind, this is like, we're already planning next year's events. We
Right.
already had a great year. We were making some revenue with money that we never knew that we would have on top of our earned income with our jobs and stuff. Because I was still working a full-time job at this time.
Sheesh, talk about it.
But I was working in tech, so I had like a lot more freedom because I was doing remote sales, so I could
Nice.
work remotely. So that's what it was. I went out there to work. I was like, you know what? I'm finna go to LA because my job has remote, so I can leverage this. I'm gonna go to LA. They won't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, so I booked the Airbnb for like a time period, like a long time period, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Nice.
I was able to get a good deal on it. Hey, them Airbnb pictures, by the way, man, dog, those things don't do justice, bro. They be taking some fucking prop pics that look like this whole space looks like a house.
Yeah.
You go
They
in,
shiesty
that's
sometimes.
just a 10 by 9 unit. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was there. That was the reason why I was there. And then I tapped in with Blake about doing the meetup for coffee, and I met with him at Starbucks. We went for a walk. This is in Hollywood Boulevard. This is like during the daytime, and there was like a Capital One, like coffee spot. So we went there. We sat down, and I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I just knew I wanted to get his advice and like his input on what I'm doing, make the questions more like personal to like what I'm doing, and get his direct feedback. Because that's what I feel like mentors and people that you seek advice. That's kind of how you should approach it. Is like tell them what your work. Obviously, ask them advice on how they would respond to certain things, but you kind of want to lay it out as like, hey, what can I do based on this? Like, what would you do if you were in my shoes? Like, that's
Right.
how I approach when I talk to people.
Of course.
One thing I learned about LA and just the environment is the level, right? Like when I was doing event production in San Jose, everyone was telling me like, bro, you killing it. You doing this, you doing that. I go talk to Blake about this. He's like, bro, you a wannabe entrepreneur, bro. Like, what the fuck is all this shit? Like, telling me like, oh, you ain't, bro, this isn't gonna last. Like, this is how much you're making. Oh yeah, you gotta just stop right now. But he was coming from a perspective of like, he was comparing to people that he's worked with in the industry.
Right.
He was talking about like the Patches and Pins Expo, which is like they bring 20,000 people at their events, and he talks about he's like it was so funny because I will never forget this, and I appreciate him for doing this because it pushed me. You know what I mean? Like it pushed me to a new level. But I remember him telling me, like this is a disrespect to the people that actually do this shit. He's like, because I was telling him like what I had planned, this and that, and he's like, bro, if I talk to one of these guys right now, they're gonna pull up their calendar, they're gonna be like, oh, I have this date, this date, this date. Like the fact that you don't even know what your dates are is telling me everything I need to know about your preparation. So I was just like, damn, that was noted. And the second thing was one of the things he said that was so disrespectful, and this is where I literally had to swallow my pride, right? Because I come from South San Jose, bro.
Yeah.
I'll slap someone, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I knew that he wasn't coming from like a disrespectful place, but his delivery came across a little disrespectful, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I knew it was advice that I needed to hear. And he was saying that, the calendar thing, the amount of effort someone will put in to just design a setup and like what their layout will be for an event like that. And then the last thing he said that really stood out to me, he's like, you know what you remind me of? This is like on the wannabe entrepreneur thing. He's like, you know what you remind me of? You remind me of one of those guys that go to the gym and they have all the brand new Nike shit. They got all the brand new, the bag and everything. But when it comes to working out, they don't know what the fuck they're doing kind of thing. So that was like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? I felt that one. I gulped apple. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna front. I was low key feeling some type of way, like
Yeah.
hard. But like I said, I knew that this is where I was telling you earlier about my pride. Like I learned to like get rid of that shit. Like at least to an extent. I feel like you have to have somewhat of pride because you gotta have like you gotta have somewhat of appreciation for what you're doing and what you're building. That has some element of pride to it. But the bad pride is like when you're like, you know what, fuck that. I don't want to work with this guy or I ain't gonna take shit from this person. Like that pride is not productive in most people's life. But in that situation, when he said all those things, like I said, I was like, I felt some type of way. But when I went back to the drawing board, I realized I'm not doing shit. Like I came back to San Jose, I was like, I'm really not on shit right now.
Yeah.
Like it looks like I'm on some shit, but I'm really not on shit right now. So then going from that year to the following year, you know, I that's when we did the Oak Ridge partnership. We did PayPal partnership. We did partnership with Eastridge. We did the partnership with Downtown Association. Like it really forced me to be like, oh shit, like I got to look at what the cards are on the table and like see what's in front of me.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing this up because I thought about like I look at it as an analogy to what you said about the war of art.
Yeah.
Because you were saying like the imposter syndrome, like someone was telling you like, you know, there's a certain way to do, like when you said Steven Spielberg style production versus like people that in your family telling you like you did an amazing job, like you're doing great. But when you come to the standard into the environment of where it's actually from, like there's levels to this shit. And I feel like that like spoke to me. Like I obviously I received the message a little aggressively and it had to be some shit like that. Cause like I feel like I don't really, there's tons of people that be talking. You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
people talking, I want to do this, I want to do that, idea this, idea that, but like what's the execution? What's the breakdown of how we're gonna get there? Like that's the process that a lot of people don't look at.
Bro.
Like you said about the 50 auditions. Like, bro, I did fucking bunch of cold calls to these organizations. Like when I did the earthquake deal, that was a cold call that I did a year ago. That the year later they actually followed up like, let's do some shit.
It'd be like
that's
that.
what it takes. You know
It'd be like that. Even some of the agent cold calls, like some of my agents didn't get back to me. Like when the pandemic hit and I had all this music equipment and I was like, how can I make money? Let me check my resources. I was like, voiceover. I've never thought of voiceover before that. And I was like, I have all this equipment and I have acting experience and I know how to record my vocals and this equipment is good. It was like 3 months of like hitting up agents and nobody responding. And then it was like referrals from other friends I knew who had voiceover agents. Finally got one.
Wow.
But something you said that reminded me of my favorite J. Cole quote is like, you could dream, but don't forget the execution.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah, ideas without execution is nothing.
Bro, nothing.
No, that's no, yeah, I just figured I'd share that because
I love that.
really resonated.
I love that.
Talking about the War of Art book, which I'm gonna look into.
Look
I'm
it.
trying to get some more books.
It's a really like 3-chapter book and it's all about motivational stuff. So it's a really easy read.
So what's next? Like, what are you currently working on that's not really public right now? What's some things that you are aspiring to work on? Like, what's
Exclusive.
exclusive? Exactly.
Damn, son, where'd you find this? At EMLN. Right now I'm currently doing a play at City Lights Theater Company, and then I will be doing the play after that. So I'm doing 2 plays, getting my acting chops up. I really think theater for me is my acting school when I can't invest in classes, but always invest in classes, all y'all actors out there. Denzel still takes acting classes. So what y'all doing? Thinking you're too good. That's another story. And then I'm trying to be consistent with music, man. I'm trying to release music twice a month. Also learning the business side of like the sync aspect of it and like owning everything. Like finally I'm working with a lawyer to set up the LLC and like contracts with everyone I work with now. Like I'm like, I can't just like make music with people and like, oh, do you own the master? Who has the publishing? I'm like, let's get it in writing. I don't want to get funny with money when I blow up because it's going to happen.
Yep.
I want everyone to know what's on the table. If I do a feature for you, you own the whole master? All right, we agreed to that? For sure. I won't ever talk bad about that because we agreed on that. It's in paper. Like I want to get everything organized together. I need to operate more like a business, man.
Yeah. No, you are, man. What's Jay-Z say? I'm not a businessman. I'm a
businessman. Yeah, exactly.
Period. Nah, so I fuck with that. We definitely got to talk offline too because I want to pick your brain about that because
totally
I want to incorporate some of that stuff into our media that we're working on, like any given bars. And
yeah.
some of the other projects we plan on doing. because it's inevitable. Like
It is.
like it's inevitable, especially like you said earlier. Like if you ain't gonna stop, like it's only inevitable that you're gonna do it.
It's only a matter of time.
Like as long as you don't quit. Like what'd you say Seth Rogen said? Like he said,
Yeah, the only way you're not going to make it is to quit.
Yep. That reminds me of that quote from Nipsey in that interview he did on Hot Boy. He's like, I might portray that I have this ultimate poise, but the only distinguishing quality that separated me from everyone else is that I just didn't quit.
Yep.
And they
The
believe me.
marathon continues.
Man, well, I definitely covered a lot of stuff
Yeah.
regarding to your career background, your upbringing in San Jose. We did give you an opportunity to speak to the audience briefly about your experiences and like some advice that you might give to some upcoming actors. But I guess to transition and conclude, to give some value to the audience, like what is some advice you can give to someone that may be in their, I don't know, early 20s? They're from San Jose. Maybe they live in New York. Maybe they live in Texas, wherever they're at. Like, what's something that you can give to them, especially if there's someone that like wants to be a creative?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's something that you want to let them know to be aware of or to just be conscious of?
Yeah, something I've learned late in life was that I'm finally doing is treat every idea like it's a good idea. Because for me, what always lingers in my head is like, what if? Oh, that one idea. What if we would have made that short film? What if we would have made that skit? Like, you don't know. And like, I've had some stuff go viral off stuff. I'm like, that was really it. But like,
Yeah.
because I filmed it and put it out there, the world told me they like that. And it gave me confidence in my skills and my trade. Also, like, this is a simple one, but don't be a dick. Because there's so many people you don't know where they're going to be in life. Like,
Yeah.
unless that's who you are, please show your colors so we don't want to work with you. But like a lot of people want to work with good people. Like we attract each other and it's like, yo, I want to keep working with that. Even if we don't have a project to work on right now, like we've been friends for a while and like we're working now. We did the culture night and like there's going to be more opportunities because we see each other working.
No, we going to work.
Also staying consistent, it's okay if you don't have the Instagram highlight reel. As long as you're working and you feel good about it, I think that's all that matters. It's also cool to try different things. Also get up on your business and finances. Learn about finances. Read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Start there. And then learn how to make money because unfortunately, love doesn't pay the bills sometimes.
Oh, that part. Shout out to Mr. Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
And we always like to, on all our shows, we just love food around here, man. So you a San Jose native, you a San Jose homebred individual. Like, what's that one spot you gonna let people know? Like, especially if they're not from San Jose and they're listening. Like, where's that spot in San Jose they gotta try?
Right now, I'd be craving all the time right now. Scratch, bro.
Scratch.
Scratch. You got to get on the Texas toast, too. The grilled cheese on the Texas toast. Number 3, because number 4 gave me diarrhea, but like number 3 is like the hotness I can handle, bro.
Oh, man.
But scratch is what I'd be craving a lot.
Yeah. Is it toast? He says like toast and chicken.
Bro, it's like a grilled cheese sandwich, but on like Texas toast and with like spicy chicken. It's like fried chicken.
Damn.
Have you not had scratch?
I've had scratch. I think I've had it one time. I think we did an event at Level Up like years ago, and they came to sell chicken at the event. I think I got it one time. That was like 3 years ago. It was a minute ago.
Yeah.
But that dish you're talking about is very specific, and it's got my interest. I'm low-key.
Because the regular one's great,
Yeah.
but like I had that one and I've been craving it.
It's like sour. It's like you said. It's like sourdough bread, or is it just
The
like
usual one is sourdough. This is Texas toast. I don't know what is the Texas toast difference, but
Yeah.
bro, that
Shit smacking.
I also love like a hidden gem for me is Adelitas on the south side.
What's it called?
Adelitas Taqueria.
Where's that?
It's on Kurtner. It's on Kurtner and Meridian. Kurtner in Lee, I think. But there's super tacos there.
Yeah, that's like going like west. Like
Yeah.
you're on Kurtner, the plant. Like you're going.
Yeah, like almost Willow Glen. It's like
Okay.
it's almost that
I
area.
gotta look that one up. What's the dish there?
Just get their tacos. They're super tacos. They're fat. They're fat too.
Fat-
Like
fat
3,
super tacos.
3 you'll be stuffed.
Oh man.
2 you'll be in a great place.
Okay. Now I know. I'm
Adelitas.
finna get some tacos at how you pronounce it?
Adelitas.
Adelitas.
And
Fly
if you want ramen, go to Jinya at Oak Ridge Mall.
Jinya.
That's my spot. bro.
Jinya. I know exactly what you're talking about because
Yeah.
every time I go there, I'm like Jinya. And that's what I always say every time I see it. at
Yeah.
Oak Ridge. Well, my girl Lisa, she She loves what's it called? Ramen-nagi. It's
Haven't
at Valley
been.
Fair. It's that one that always, the line is always cracking.
That's why I haven't been.
Try that one. Because if she heard you say Jinya, she'll be like, that's mid.
Yeah, I guess.
She's gonna be like, you gotta hit that ramen-nagi.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a big ramen like that.
And I guess
I'm
one
still on
that's
top ramen.
Oh, you like top ramen? Me too, bro.
Bad for
Keep
me,
it
but,
keep
you
it
know, shit, we still on that shit, man.
keep it simple. I mean, one that's like a chain food, but like it's my go-to. It's everywhere. It's not just San Jose, but Mendocino Farms, bro.
Oh yeah, Mendocino Farms. Why is that the little kiosk?
No, it's
I'm
like
thinking about
it's
the
like a
other-
blue cow, bro. It's like a place that has a blue cow. Like that's their bro.
Like,
There's
I heard
salads
this
there.
before, but it's like, where is it? A location?
Yeah, they have one in Santana Row. They have one in
What's that?
yeah, it is. It's kind of bougie. I'm not gonna lie, but their salads
$10
hit
avocado toast kind of shit.
like $15 salads kind of thing.
Ooh, damn.
But their salads hit, bro.
Have you ever been to Earth Cafe?
No,
Have you heard of Earth Cafe?
no.
It's in LA. It's the most bougiest salad spot ever. Bro.
But is it good?
It's a low key hit.
All right. Well, I'm saying
It
like
hit, but that line is like unnecessary. I'm like, we all here for a salad right now? You kidding me,
Nah.
my G?
yeah.
That shit
I
wild.
like that. Yeah, I like food. We can talk about food forever, bro.
Nah, yeah, food is that one, man. That's that fuel right there. That's tackling fuel.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I do have one more question.
Let's get it.
Before we conclude it. Because you mentioned earlier that when you review lines, that sometimes you and your girl she helps you review your lines. Like, how do you balance a relationship in this journey? Because I know, like,
Oh,
you know, a lot of people don't touch on relationships a lot of the times in
Oh.
podcasts, but I feel like it's definitely like everyone can relate.
man, me and my girl were just going through something last week because of this. It's hard not for the people who are close to you to feel neglected when it comes to this stuff. So I think you just have to have a strong level of communication and checking in on what other people need, because some game for all the music people out there and creators is what I'm learning, and what is working well for me is like showing people the world I live in, showing people my mom listening to my music, her reactions, having my girlfriend a part of the skits. People love seeing these characters in my world and being like, oh, not only is he just like a rapper, he also is in a relationship. It's a healthy relationship. Okay. Oh, he also has a good relationship with his mom. People can relate to that because they're like, me and my mom are hella close too.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they'll find an entry point with me that way.
Mm.
But doing that, I have to like always make sure I make time for her and what she needs. Like she's really big on quality time.
Yeah.
So make sure like, you know, we have our movie dates or our play dates, or like she just wants to rest. Let me just nourish you. Let's get some food and let's just kick back.
Yeah.
So we have like Sundays where we don't do anything.
That's the
And like I schedule stuff, or like I'm editing in bed and like we're just kicking back, or we'll do stuff together. We'll plan events.
Yeah.
But like I try not to make it where it's like, hey babe, I need us to shoot a skit for me. Let's make this for me. You know, I'm like, I try to make sure I communicate a lot. Hey, this is what my schedule's looking like. When are you available? Because she's also hella busy too. She's like she's a marathon runner. She's a track head coach. She's also like a bilingual para like during the day. So she does a lot of stuff. So we just have to make sure like our schedules align so we can nourish our connection.
No, that's powerful, man. I appreciate you sharing that.
Of course.
We all know everyone out there got that little booth thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they all talking to while they building. So it's
Yeah.
like sometimes those dynamics, you know, communication's a very important aspect of it.
Yeah.
And you said something too, is like the balance and just, you know, kind of letting people know, hey, I'm doing this, you can do that, or we can work with each other's schedule, and not make it all about you.
Yeah, because as we know as entrepreneurs and creators, like sometimes you're going to be unbalanced. That's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes you're going to be going for like a couple months before you have like, hey, we can't go on vacation or go out for like a while.
Yeah.
Like I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
But like after that, stick with me and like, yo, we gonna go on a nice vacation. Like it's gonna be
On
good.
that.
You know? So I think just having that line of communication, having somebody who's down to like grind with you. Like my girl, like when I was making these, she was like, let me help tie-dye some shirts with you. Let me bag some of your merch. Like she likes doing stuff with me.
Yeah.
So it's cool having someone like that. And if you don't have someone like that, someone who just understands like when you're performing, like there's going to be fans of multiple genders coming up to you. Are they okay with that? Like just know as long as there's that trust, you going out to network, like I might not be home till late. They trust you and they're not going to give you a hard time. Like we know our mindset is everything, you know? We don't want a person closest to us, like messing with our mind. You want the support. You want that love.
Yeah.
So I just think making sure they're supported, you're supported, keeping it healthy.
Man, and that's where we're going to end it at, man, with the fire quote and the
Yee.
fire bars. Once again, David Morales, thank you so much for coming down to the EMLN studio, man. You already gave your advice, so I ain't going to make you do it again. You already gave us your favorite food spots, so we ain't going to make you do that again. And you gave some great relationship advice. So once again, thank you so much for coming down, bro. We're definitely going to talk off camera and figure out what we can do to work together a little bit more this year. Even if it's me asking you some advice on like the skits and making some content, because I told you I'm trying to get on my acting bag, bro. I want to do some shit.
So you're gonna see him in a skit before the year's done.
Yeah, some.
You gonna see it.
I might
Hold him to
play
it.
Hector and shit from fucking the Sereno, from fucking all the gangster movies and shit.
All right,
We're
Hector.
gonna see some.
He cast himself. He's doing this.
All my North Day homies like, what'd you say, homie?
What'd you
I'm just playing, I'm
say?
just playing.
No, but it's an honor to be on this podcast and be a part of this EMLN beautiful community, bro, because it's going everywhere. And we're going to talk about our social medias right now. So you can follow me everywhere at Active Poet if you want the music. And I just broke it down to my acting page, David Morales everywhere. To this camera right here, Active Poet, David Morales, both my pages. But we're going to flip it over to the host with the most. Where can they find you and this podcast?
You should already be following. That's the first thing I'm going to say. But in case this is your first time seeing us, make sure you follow me at Yo Soy BQ, all one word, and EMLN exclusive on our website. You can see all our media, all our content. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. Every Monday at 8 a.m., we drop in the podcast, video, and audio. So that's all I got to say. It ain't exclusive. If it ain't an EMLN exclusive, it's your boy BQ, the homie David, and we out.
Yee!
Peace.